Hello, everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to talk again about the new moon that's coming up in Leo. It's going to be in uh, on August. Excuse me. It's going to be on July 31st, around 8:11 p.m. here on the West Coast in California. So, in Pacific Daylight Time. So you just have to adjust that time to your time zone to know what time that is. But there's actually 4 planets and 1 asteroid in Leo at this time. At the new moon, we have the sun, the moon, of course. Venus is conjunct this, and that, of course, is just beautiful. That's beautiful energy. And Mars in Leo. And so Mars isn't actually conjunct the new moon, but is still very close, so it really has some impact. And Mars is, Mars in Leo is kind of the actor. It's the person who is on stage and acting out. And so we're seeing a lot of acting out right now. But anyway, but it is about creative self-expression. Leo just has so many meanings. Leo is ruled by the sun, so there is this great connection to the sun and the consciousness of the sun. And this new moon is also in a square to the planet Uranus. And Uranus just brings all kinds of surprises. You kind of never know exactly what's going to happen, but he is the god of chaos, and he's the trickster. And he likes to mix things up in a way that gets us confused, and yet not so much gets us confused, but where we take ourselves too seriously, and it's about breaking things down. It's about breakthrough. But Uranus also rules the weather. And with all this fire, there's, like I said, 4 planets in Leo and 1 in Jupiter, which is a big planet, is in Sagittarius. It's kind of like fanning the flames, but it is in a trine aspect, so that is good. I was just saying that there is a lot of heat, and Uranus can bring extremes. So extremes on every aspect of weather, especially right now in Leo. It's the fire element is really big, and Uranus, just so you know, is also brings storms and lots of lightning. They say Uranus acts like a lightning bolt, sudden flashes of insight, and so it also actually rules lightning. Now, what I wanted to say as well is so Leo has many layers and levels of meaning, just like every other astrological symbol, and so does the sun, and so does the moon. And so Leo and the sun, I'm just going to say the sun, because we all have the sun. Not everybody has planets in Leo. But where the sun is represents that divine spark of creator that we each carry. It is that inner light. It is that flame of divinity that we all carry. And I just want to point to the screen that I have in the back. It's of the goddess Isis, or Isis, as some call her, leading the Queen Nefertari to her crowning. And I think this really symbolizes a lot about Leo. It just really came to me to use this screen. I haven't used it before. That it is about guiding us to our own inner divinity. Each one of us have that spark, that flame, that face of creator that no one else wears and brings to this world. So in times of Leo is an energy that really wants us to shine, wants that inner light to shine, and to shine in the world, that inner divinity, because it is the light in the darkness it is the light within ourselves that is going to pull us through this darkness. And that's why I'm calling this video The Light in the Darkness, because that is our inner divinity. It is that light within. And so how is it that we grow that light? What is it that we can do to do that? Well, the first thing is, of course, is to bring any darkness to the light. Any places where we're carrying Old hurts, old grudges, old wounds are actually guiding our lives and places where we're living in fear. That light is love. And hate, it's not so much hate, but fear is the opposite of love. So those places in ourselves where we're carrying fear, and I'm going to say places where we don't yet love ourselves. And that's what this is about. It's about filling us up with more light, more love, as we release this darkness personally and collectively. And also, and I want to say too that this is also on a collective level. The darkness is coming through so strong, and yet there is so much light coming in. It's just that we have to anchor it in our bodies to our light, and we have to heal ourselves to release our own darkness, which actually creates the collective consciousness. So, as each one of us do our own healing, we're actually doing our work for the planet as well as things we do in the outer world. And so Leo is also about the inner child. It is about honoring the inner child, that playfulness within us, and to know that play, laughter, and joy are they're actually healing as we release the old things as they need to come to our conscious awareness to release them. We don't have to relive them. We don't even have to name them sometimes, just to let it, come out. And it's, emotionally. But it's also a time of, Leo has to do with great creativity and beauty. Walking in beauty and being creators, and remembering that we are creators of our own lives by every choice we make. And we can always choose love. We can always choose to have an open heart. And this new moon is actually on the celebrated pagan holy day of Lughnasadh or Lammas. And it is a feast of the light, is when the light is coming in the strongest. Here, the sunlight here in the northern hemisphere. And it is the first harvest. It is the harvest of the grains. And so it's also called the Feast of the Loaves. The loaves being the sacred bread, the nourishment, and being the first harvest. And so it is a day of gratitude. And it's actually, I believe what I have read, at least in more ancient times, the festivals took place over several days. It wasn't just one day. It was a harvest, and there was great joy and dancing and blessings of gratitude. And it's just a reminder of how gratitude opens our hearts to be thankful for the blessings in our lives. And not only the blessings that are here, but the blessings that are on their way. As our hearts open to gratitude, I just recently read that gratitude actually changes the cellular structure of the heart. It heals us. Gratitude is healing. It is a door that opens our hearts so we can feel again, and to be grateful and to be thankful for all of our blessings as we let go of those things that hurt us. And so, this would be a great time to start a gratitude practice if you don't already have one. Many indigenous cultures, they start morning and evening with prayers and thank you. Thank you, Grandfather Sun. Thank you for the light. Thank you for another day. Thank you for my life. And as the sun sets, thanking Grandfather Sun again for the wonderful day and all of the blessings in our lives, or however you would like to say those prayers. But starting your day and ending your day with prayers of thanks and gratitude can really change your life and open your heart in ways I can't even tell you how it's impacted my life. And many of us know that. We already know that and are already doing that, and understand how gratitude changes our life perspective. And another thing about Leo is and I want to relate again to our inner divinity, because it's about leadership. Leo is the sign of the king and the queen. And so it is about leadership, and it is about personal authority and authentic authority. And what does that actually look like in our lives? Well, it is about living the light of our hearts in the world. That is what it's really about, being aligned with our heart. Another term for it could be, we could say leading with the heart, or vulnerable leadership. Um, a leader whose heart is, a person of power whose heart is shut down is no leader. That is not true leadership. Leadership needs to be in alignment with the cosmos and the cosmos's love. And so it's really important for each of us in our own world to live that integrity of living from the heart, living in truth, living in justice, living in balance, and all of the ways of Ma'at. In Egyptian culture, the pharaohs, and they were aligned with the law of Ma'at. And they said that they took on the law of Ma'at when they had their leadership, and they give it back to her when they die, and it is intact, just as it was given to them. So it is about realigning with that inner divinity and those cosmic laws of love, justice, peace, and balance, and truth, and real truth. And to bringing up truth is another planetary alignment at this new moon that's really important. And as I have spoken in other videos, the north node of the moon is the way forward. The south node of the moon is our past. And so in this particular axis that we're traveling through now, the moon is the ruler of the north node, because the north node is in Cancer. And so as the moon changes each month, the new moon sign, the sign of the moon changes each month. So there is a new teaching around the new moon. And so one of the teachings here is, as well as what I've been talking about, all of the energy in Leo, is that the god Mercury, which symbolizes our voice, our speaking, how we express ourselves and communicate. And he is in the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, conjunct that north node. And Cancer is so much about the energy of the heart. And I do want to say Leo is also associated with the heart. Leo is associated with, like, the spirit and the life force and the center of our being that resides in the heart. Cancer is associated with more the moon and the feelings and the emotions of the heart. The heart is a great, it's where our seat of our consciousness actually lies, in our, not just in our body, in our energy field. And so Mercury in Cancer is about speaking from the heart. It is, and the truth is, when we speak from the heart, it makes us very vulnerable, and we can get scared. And so it feels to me like what this is saying is to speak from your heart, even if you're scared, even if you tremble, and to know that that is a sign that you're in your heart. That when you're scared, to speak your truth, and yet you have the courage to do it, and it lines up in a good way in your body, and you feel it in your heart, not in your head. And this moon north, this Mercury north node conjunction is opposing the south node, of course, which is traveling in Capricorn, and we've got Saturn and Pluto, which are such strong players, conjunct that south node and opposite this Mercury. So yes, it is about finding the power of our voice, and there is fear sometimes about speaking the truth, our truth, the truth that lives in our heart, not in our head. And so it is also about speaking truth to power. It is time. Times are changing, and so much of what's going on is about self-empowerment and empowerment of the collective. And even though we're moving through dark times, we're being shown the way forward. And so I want to end on this note, and it comes from a download that I had not that long ago, that there is light coming in. It's coming in, and it wants to anchor in our hearts. That's how we're going to anchor the light that is coming in our hearts. And there are going to be times when the light is very strong. And at this new moon in Leo, the light is very strong. So as we can open our hearts, we can receive more light, and that light will heal us. And also to know that we're not alone. We are surrounded by this light, which is love. and it is the love of the universe, and it's just simply coming in. We have to open to it as we release that darkness. Let it come to the light so that it can heal the darkness in ourselves and the darkness in our world. All right, so with that, I will say goodbye, and I will see you next month. All righty, bye.